awaken into the area of the heart. Bring your awareness to the place of your emotion.
Hey everyone, this is Stephanie here with creatingwithin.com, and today I'm here interviewing Don Simmons. He is a great friend of mine and a teacher and an inspiration. Don Simmons is a spiritual intuitive counselor. He is the president of ISTA, which is the International Sound Therapy Association, and a meditation teacher as well. Hi Don, welcome.
Hello Stephanie, thank you very much.
I'm so happy to have you here. This is my first one-on-one interview, and I definitely, when I decided that I needed to do this, you were the first person that came to my mind.
First of all, I want to say thank you, and I'm truly honored that you would ask me to be your first one.
We met almost like 3 years ago.
I think
And
so.
yes, and we met at Red Hot Yoga. You were doing crystal bowls and gong therapy, which was really cool. It was my first time being introduced to that.
The path of meditation and the path of sound is a very sacred place for me. Sound, I think, is truly one of the pioneer places that we are going, because not too many people know about it. Not too many people know about the healing properties of it. You can start looking around and you start seeing more and more people going down that journey of healing or sound therapy kind of things. And it's been around forever. I mean, it's ancient, really. But at the same time, it's having a beautiful resurgence. And that's what I love. And seeing the look on your face and your friend's face at that time, it was so beautiful to see.
We're aware of the importance of like frequencies and vibration and the things you say, but to really get more in depth on how powerful sound is, all sound, it was really incredible.
And that's one of the things that we want to do with International Sound Therapy Association, with ISTA, is to help people become more conscious of sounds around them. That, the sound of the refrigerator, or the sound of the jackhammer, or the sound of a baby crying, or a loud motorcycle, or whatever it may be, or even music that's not really fitting for dinner. Let me say that we are all sound within us. We're frequency and vibration, we're water, we're fluid, and all of these things are bouncing around within us. And so if we fill our bodies with really wonderful food and really beautiful sounds, then we're becoming in harmony with all of nature, with all of creation.
It's amazing. Since you said that, I wanted to ask you, as far as your path, how did you come about getting into and learning more about sound and practicing and meditation? Because I know meditation is a big part of your life and your path.
Did you hear the cow story?
No, I have not. What's the cow story?
Well, I was born and raised on a farm, and so I'll try to keep it short, but the idea of cows are so beautiful to me. They have this wonderful sound, especially first thing in the morning. And that sound, I remember, walking outside, first thing in the morning before school, going to go feed the cows, and hearing those cows just mooing like that. It was so, I feel that vibration. When you do that, you're connecting with something, that for me was a part of myself because I own the farm, but it's an ancient sound. First of all, if we think about cows, they've been around forever, but it's sort of an ancient sound. And so that path of my own sound vibration, of finding that I was alive through sound, was very powerful. Meditation came about because of certain pain that I was in. Ankylosing spondylitis is a form of arthritis. And sometimes it would take a long time for me just to straighten my legs. So I later found out that that kind of movement, that kind of breathing, that kind of atmosphere was called meditation. Being born and raised in Mississippi, during that time, we didn't know what meditation was. And so it taught me quite naturally what to do to help my body relax. My path, unfortunately, there were some things that were not positive, but out of those, what we might think of as negatives, became really beautiful and became truly my life, my journey on earth.
And like, you're a person who follows your intuition. You're all about feeling and going by what feels right for you.
Right.
And for me, especially with Creating Within, like that's a huge, my message to people is about finding their inner voice and helping them tap into their inner power. And I wanted to know how have you been able to listen to it? And because we have that two voice, you know, we have our personality, which are our human self, and then our soul. How have you been able to tap into that and to allow that voice to guide you?
It's definitely a lifelong process. And no one is perfect, and I'm not perfect, and sometimes I've made horrible decisions. But at the same time, when you come back to listening to what feels right at the moment, there are no bad decisions. I said, you are the president and CEO of your own body. You're the president and CEO of your life. If you're the president and CEO, you are the one that makes the decision, no one else. A good president and CEO has all kinds of advisors and people that tell them what to do and everything else. But the job of the president and CEO is to take the advice, understand it within, and then start creating what you know to be right. Again, I love your title, Creating Within, because you are assimilating it all right here together, and you say, how does that feel? Does that feel right? Do I get tense? Do I loosen up? And then speak. And one of our biggest challenges in our earth plane existence is being able to speak. That's where sound comes from. And so I find it very important that we learn how to speak, that we understand the modulation of our voice, that we understand the words that come out of our voice, how they can hurt or how they can heal. Once again, you're creating within. We have a choice on how we experience the world around us and how we experience each other. And so, once again, as you observe those thoughts that come up, then you can make choices on how they come out.
How would you say for people who, you know, I hear a lot of times people, it's really difficult, there's different types of meditation, but I've heard, like, you know, I can't meditate, I sit there and it's just like, it doesn't work. And, you know, I know there's sitting meditation, there's chanting. I think, I don't know what you think about this, but anything can be turned into a meditation.
Absolutely.
Really, because it's just a state of awareness and being able to be in tune with what you're doing at the moment. But for somebody who wants to practice and just to be more in tune with themselves and to really be able to hear their inner voice and kind of start clearing out that clutter and using meditation as a tool, but maybe not in such a traditional sense, how can you...
It's a very good question, and I get a lot of people asking me that same kind of thing of, I can't meditate, my mind's so fast, my mind's so active. Everybody's mind is active. We've got active minds, we're human. That's why we have active minds. We've all got ADD, if we want to believe ADD exists, kind of thing, you know, it's all part of it. Sound is one of the most amazing ways to help you meditate. Frequency and vibration, when it comes to sound, becomes what I think of as a river of sound, or a bed of sound, or a highway of sound. And so that sound allows you to just sort of sit on top of that vibration. So when a thought comes up, you take that thought and you put it on the sound and you watch it float away. So you can stay right here on that top of that sound vibration, and it lets it go away. So when you're in meditation, you can feel yourself just floating on that sound. And so give yourself 5 to 10 minutes. If you need sound, do that. You know, I would urge people not to listen to something that you already know. You know, a snappy tune, or even, you know, a classical song, because it's something that you know. Our key to real healing is being unpredictable. Because if we're predicting do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, you already know what's coming. So you're already going there before I get there. If I go, you don't know what's going to happen next, so it keeps the brain in an active form.
The same way that you're talking about music and not keeping it predictable, as humans, I feel like we gravitate towards, you know, security and comfort and the familiar, and our soul, you know, gravitates to that unknown, that uncertainty, and it's there, it's going into that uncertainty. So it's so interesting to hear you say that with sound, because I never thought about it like that, but it's the same way for us. Like, we need to go into that unknown. We need to not know and be okay with it, because it is the flow of things, and that's kind of how we discover, you know, our soul and just be able to experience what's coming next versus staying in what we know, the familiar.
And that's where, you know, we think about what's happening in clubs and things like that. And don't get me wrong, I love clubs. I partied with the best of them. And there's that tribal movement of things that are happening that's really wonderful and great for a period of time. But at the same time, it is entraining you into a group consciousness thought. And you have to be careful and clear. Who is the group consciousness that you're with? Native American chanting. There's a spirit that flows within this, as opposed to just a droning beat that's very primal, that's very root chakra based, fear based sometimes. I'm going to get, what am I going to do? You know, grabbing and doing this kind of thing, as opposed to bringing it up into the area of the heart chakra, where you can still work with the root and solar plexus and sacral chakra and all of that. That's good, and it should be, but let it flow all the way up. All the way up. Now you're activating everything, because if you're just activating the root chakra or the sacral chakra, you're only dealing with that survival instinct. When you pull that sound up into the heart and the throat and the third eye and the crown chakra, now you're enlightening everything around you.
There is a certain type of music, a certain type of sound that takes you there, and I've become aware of that in the last couple of years, and I'm just like, so depending where you want to be, you put the kind of music. Like when people want to, you know, they're sad and they want to work through things, what do they put? They put on really like sad songs, because it takes you to a state. Right. It's so powerful.
I was, part of my other path was, I was a disc jockey back in the day. In addition to...
Oh, of course, it goes together.
Exactly. And I was one of the early DJs with disco back in the 70s and 80s. This is back in Mississippi time. And you can watch how certain music will change the mood of the room, and you can predict it. You can make it happen with certain beats per minute, you know, or a certain mood that you're starting. You know, the different songs would create a different atmosphere. And I could make people go to the bar, and I could make people come back to the floor.
That's so true. You know, I heard that the other day. There was a DJ who I was talking to at an event, and she was saying that, and I never thought about it like that, that she's like, people don't understand how powerful it is, and the fact that I bring in the people, because I know what type of music or when I have to do something to make people either go to the bar or dance or not. And I was like, whoa, like, I had no idea. Like, that's pretty amazing. Again,
there's a time and place for everything. And I think that, you know, as long as you find balance within what you're doing, sure, go to the clubs, have fun. Do that kind of thing. Work those lower chakras, but also start working the upper chakras too. You know, be aware of how you feel when you are dancing. Be aware of where's your heart when you're dancing. And I just remember at that time, and the sense of freedom, of joyfulness, of being able to move completely unencumbered. You know, and that's a beautiful thing. So if people were to use that as a way of being able to expand up into their heart while they're dancing. The Sufis have a tradition, it's the whirling dervish. And what they do is left hand up, right hand down, and they move into a trance state where they're spinning around and around and around and around. And it's a dance, the dance of life, and you're dancing with the universe, and it's a beautiful thing. And they bring that energy from the center of the universe, the center of the earth, up into their heart, into their head, up into the universe. And they're allowing and feeling this coming from the universe down into the earth, and they're finding that sense of balance as they're moving in a circle. A beautiful dance. But they're very centered while they're doing this. So whether you're listening to, you know, the whirling dervish, or whether you're listening to whoever the latest person in the club is, how can you bring that into your heart space? How can you bring that up in your third eye or crown? Recognizing that all things come from a divine part. Right. Now we can use everything that we do from that space of divinity.
That's why I love what you're doing, because in your own way, just with ISTA and with meditation, and even with your gifts of just helping people from an intuitive perspective and helping them get in touch with their inner world and guiding them on their path is just amazing.
Part of ISTA's mission is to increase the awareness of sound, frequency, and vibration all around you. And our mission is to try to get that information out. And I don't know how to do that other than things like this, other than to be the example of myself the best that I can and help share that word for other people. And if you become conscious with one little thing, that one little thing can change the world. So continue being the light of who you are at all times. Let them live their journey, whatever it may be. That's okay. Live your light. Your job is to not change anybody. Your job is to be the beautiful light that you are. Create within all that you want to see, so that others may see it, and be a better person, and then eventually create a better world.
Thank you, Don. I so appreciate you taking the time to speak with me and be a part of Creating Within. How can people learn more about ISTA and about you?
Sure. International Sound Therapy Association is powerofsounds.org, and that's our website. We're in the process of building a new website. Beautiful thing. I can't wait for it, because ISTA is now truly becoming an international society where we will start doing things on an international perspective. Two of the things that we're working with is with autism and post-traumatic stress syndrome. Helping understand where and how sound, frequency, and vibration can help those things is another real strong aspect of International Sound Therapy Association. So that's powerofsounds.org. For myself, it's The Mystic Path, themysticpath.com.
Hey everyone, well thank you for tuning in, and I hope that you enjoyed this interview as much as I did with Don Simmons here at the Phoenix and Dragon in Atlanta, Georgia. And we'll be back soon with other interviews. Signing off here with creatingwithin.com.